Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and we're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is for the week of August 1st, 2019. The current character challenge is for Injustice 2 Aquaman. That's a 1 week repeat, as is the standard. The required characters for that are any Red Sun character, any Arkham character, and then any Batman. So that's booster pack, and then gold and gold if you're looking at the easiest way to get each of them. So for Red Sun characters, that's a bit challenging if you're just starting out.
Well, even if you're not starting out, like part of me used to think that having challenge goals as requirements was the worst.
That's true.
But having a specific rare drop that's like a 1 in 20 chance in a gold pack is maybe marginally worse.
Especially because all the packs that used to be able to get them in are cash packs now.
Yes.
Which we'll talk about maybe a little bit later.
Actually, no, but the gold booster, I think you can still get the Red Sun. You're thinking about just the Red
I'm
Sun
saying
pack.
all the ones in which you could get them with any increased probability.
Oh, yeah, with any certainty. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're right, you can't get them in the gold booster pack, but that's so rare that you can't actually guarantee.
And
right?
actually, I should probably correct myself a little bit, too, because the challenge pack may or may not have, we haven't checked in a while, any of the challenge Red Suns. They didn't used to, because they used to exclude them specifically, but it probably is worth a recheck now that all those other packs are cash packs only.
That's true, it's possible. So anyways, Injustice 2 Aquaman, his passive is Atlantean Tactics. When Aquaman does any special, he rinses any damage over time off him and puts it on his opponent with the effect doubled. So this is a good damage over time tank.
Yeah, he's got great stats. He's 1400 damage, 1400 health at the E0 level 1, I guess. You don't start at level 0. And he's an excellent counter. Not only is he a great damage over time dealer, but he's a perfect counter to damage over time, especially Arkham Knight Catwoman, whose passive means her damage over time normally doesn't rinse. The bleed damage doesn't rinse. In this case, it does. And so, all right, so I'm going to link to a fight that we've got in the description and in the eye in the top right corner. The audio is a bit out of sync. Apologies for that, but we had Injustice 2 Aquaman against Injustice 2 Aquaman, and we were trading bleed damage on Special 1. So when Injustice 2 Superman finally tags in, his health bleeds away like nothing, and it's pretty spectacular. To get the right circumstances for that to happen is very rare.
Yeah.
Only because, well,
you're not going to face him in online multiplayer on purpose a lot, and you're not going to run into a situation which you can guarantee that like he's in a specific slot, right?
Right, and he's also going to do 2 special ones. Like usually if they got 2 bars, they're going to do a special 2. If they've got 1 bar, they're going to do special 1, but they won't build up to the second one fast enough after we start bleeding them. But this one, it was a really quick exchange, and it was pretty funny. And that's the main reason why in our Justice League team that we use for grinding multiplayer, that's our choice. I mean, all the Aquaman is Aquaman's.
Yeah.
Is this like the Batman thing?
I guess so. Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, any Aquaman could be used on a team effectively, but the extra ability to rinse damage over time makes him sort of the go-to guy.
Okay, and speaking of multiplayer, this week's multiplayer reward is Rebirth Wally West, whose passive is Speed Force Merge. There's a chance to dodge any special attack and then counterattack for large damage. If teamed up with Rebirth characters or Flash characters, the chance goes up. Rebirth characters also receive a power generation boost.
And so another guy with really excellent stats, 1350 damage and 1300 health at the base.
Yeah.
He's got great fast basic attacks like all the Flashes, and I think the most important part of his passive is the dodging the specials. I mean, he can still dodge, I think, even when stunned, which makes him better than Dawn of Justice Batman, who, if stunned, doesn't. And he's a great potential counter against cards that stun on tag, and right, especially if they're geared to increase damage against stun, like the Cloak of Destiny or Necron's Scythe, because it just doesn't register, and he does
It's a real quick
back.
reversal. It's a no you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I was going to say something else about. So even though he's a multiplayer reward, at one point he actually had a gold pack that was, we're nostalgic and reminiscing, but he had a gold pack that was power credits with a chance to get him in it. And so those days, I think, are long gone now.
Yeah, speaking of the store, we've got the Batgirl early access pack for 25 Canadian or 24.99 Canadian. Not worth it. It's 1 copy. They won't unlock in your store. It's probably a clue for next week's challenge, but especially just because it's going to be next week's challenge. It doesn't have a lot of value added for the cost.
Right.
And we also have the Darkside War character bundle for $26.99 Canadian. Comes with Apocalypse Darkside, the good one. Unfortunately, he has been nerfed now. His combo ender damage over time doesn't last until tag out like it used to, but it also comes with Rebirth Jessica Cruz.
Right. Still no packs in the rotation for power credits. And can I comment on the one thing that's funny to me?
Sure.
And it just occurred to me. So both of these prices are supposed to be probably $20 American.
Yeah.
And so one is $2 more. And so that's understandable as the exchange rate fluctuates.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't actually have cash packs like this, did we? Like, not the character packs until very recently, right? In the last couple of updates.
Yeah.
So it's funny to me that when they're adding all these cash packs, that there's still a bunch that they didn't bother
Updating?
Well, yeah, because they could just standardize like the cost,
Well,
right?
to me, if you're using online, I mean, you get into the economics of it more. This is actually maybe something that we should talk about even in the Q&A, but to me, you would almost be able to just do a currency conversion and then round. But
Yeah.
that might be worth talking about in the next Q&A. Anyways, in Survivor, we have the League of Assassins gear until the 7th of August, 2019. Phantom Zone is currently in, and there's one more week left on that. Fight 62 is still broken.
And so far with breakthroughs now that they've been updated recently, we've had Raven the first week, Killer Croc and Martian Manhunter was last weekend, so hopefully we'll get another one of the previously unavailable golds for breakthrough this coming weekend.
Exciting times if you want to elite 10 some people, especially if you have already some other people that you put them on a team with that are higher elite,
Right.
and you've been struggling in matchmaking.
I also want to point out in terms of the Survivor gears, there's still people that are saying, oh yeah, how come I'm still getting Suicide Squad gears even though it says something else?
Yeah.
And the issue is that that's in the coding of the game, that's the default. If you start the game without any internet connection, that's what you'll get in Survivor. So the key is making sure that when you start the game, you are not only connected to the internet, but you've got a good connection. And if it turns out that you are getting the wrong gear, start the game over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there we go. Moving on to current glitches, just remember that every working glitch is explained in a video as part of a playlist that you can reach by clicking the I in the top right corner of this video. We are Android only, so we're only able to confirm these glitches for Android. A quick spoiler alert, nothing has changed this week from previous weeks for glitches. And last up, before you can actually talk about the glitches themselves, if you're on iOS and you see a question from an iOS user asking for help in the comments, please do consider helping out and being each other's resources.
Yeah, and because we keep that playlist updated properly, if you're ever interested, you just go to the playlist. You'll know even before we do our weekly Sort of Thursday night update.
Yeah.
So that's why when we talk about it, we start talking about our not working glitches.
Mm-hmm, because you can look for a glitch if you want to find it there, but you can't look for a glitch and find its absence as readily unless you're, like, you know, looking at each title one by one.
So the biggest question we always get asked is there a working glitch for power credits, and there is not. There used to be. Technically, there is one that we are not willing to endorse, and we talk about the reasons why in more detail in Season 6, Episode 9. We'll link that in the description of our P and Q and C and A and T video. And the main reason is because it requires being logged in the same account simultaneously on two devices, which it's too risky for having your account suspended.
Yeah. The glitch for getting repeated past multiplayer season rewards is not working. The glitch for early multiplayer season rewards is not working. And there is no glitch to get through Phantom Zone quickly. Now we can get on and move on to the working glitches. Get on and move on. Sometimes, because we got a rough outline here, sometimes I try to change my wording and then I realize that I don't end up in the right place, and and then I try to, like, splice it back together with the original wording, and it doesn't work as well as you'd imagine, because I don't just want to say the same thing every time, but then sometimes I just say something that sounds bad. Anyways, you can maybe
I would
take
just
the
be
first
happy
working
if you'd
glitch.
stop dropping stuff during the video.
I always drop my phone. This time it's a secondary device that just slipped out of my pocket, and I do apologize.
Okay. Working glitches. The glitch to let you play Phantom Zone repeatedly, still working. Its biggest value is actually avoiding even the 50 nth metal. And you'll see in some of the grinding videos that we do now during our P and Q and C and A and T videos, that we're willing to spend an nth metal, like 5 nth metal, to re-roll it after the first free one once, just because that makes a big enough difference to
How quickly we do it.
Yeah, how quickly you can finish it. More than that's probably not worth it. So the real value of this Phantom Zone reset is actually not waiting until you've maxed out and played all 3 of the 50 nth metal replays, but just to do it after the first one and not bother spending any nth metal to restart it.
Yeah, so there we go. The challenge reset method that requires Google Play Cloud Save is working. That's tested and confirmed on the current Injustice 2 Aquaman challenge. Just remember that in times like now, when the Phantom Zone is up, that the challenge reset and the Phantom Zone reset are similar enough. They're basically the same method, so that when you're resetting one, you're probably resetting the other. So if you got progress on one and you want to keep progress on one, don't use either reset method right now.
Right. Breakthrough glitch let you play it repeatedly, still working, and even though we don't have trouble, some people have, and we've cut and pasted into the description a comment from a viewer who has a potential solution, but we can't test it or confirm whether it works because we've actually never had that same problem.
The airplane mode / refund glitch is still working. That's good for packs with random drops, aka loot boxes and last laugh tickets. We should point out that it doesn't work in the Phantom Zone for us when it's around. So again, now, because it requires an online connection, and there's been...
The Phantom Zone does.
Yeah, Phantom Zone does, not the reset. And we've seen people saying... On iOS, it looks like that by logging out before the final boss fight and switching accounts immediately, you can re-roll your Phantom Zone portal reward, but we haven't been able to do any version of that in Android.
Well, see, and what's funny is if you do try that in Android, it looks like you can get it to show a different animation at the end of it, but when you reconnect, it swaps it back to the original reward that you get.
Yeah.
So whatever I've tried to make the device progress override the online one, it doesn't do it.
Yeah.
So it's
weird.
just interesting, yeah. Time shifting still works in Android for unlimited survivor play and energy recharges. Again, remember to bring your cooldown or countdown clock back to normal before you're done. Free energy without having to watch a video still works, and it still doesn't work a lot, and it seems like we've screwed it up on our old device, but now that I've been playing more on the new device, we're getting it maybe once every few ultimate runs.
Yeah, which is not bad.
Yeah.
We've also cut and pasted an iOS user's Dragons 952 solution into the description if your free energy button is grayed out on iOS.
Okay. And I guess that brings us to glitches in limbo. So they're not working, and they're not working.
Or should we say glitch in limbo?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right. So the promotion glitch where you can promote characters is still locked, hasn't had the right conditions since update 2.14, still not testable, still not usable. Given how they formatted the main screen now, it looks like the conditions will never be available again.
Yeah.
Because it requires the challenge to be in the first slot on that main splash page. And instead it's always the second one with something from the store in the first. So we're going to remove it when it fails, but because we are creatures of habit, it technically actually hasn't failed us yet.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, to finish up, we would like to give a massive thank you to all the people who are supporting us on Patreon. We have Console Peasant, who is supporting us at the top tier Last Word, John Oriama supporting us at the Your Message Here tier, and then Shawn Farrell, Daniel Simonson, Aaron Maule, and Michael DeVries, who are supporting us on the credited level, not to mention Eddy G and Chris Wolff at the gratitude level. Thank you all so much, and thanks so much to you for watching. We'll see you next time. Komoda!